This is shuttle launch control. We've got flight crew having breakfast. There's mission specialist Ray Seddon, payload specialist Millie Hughes-Fulford. She's making her first trip into space today. Mission specialist Drew Gaffney is also flying on the shuttle, first time. We've got mission specialist Jim Bajan. He's making his second flight into space today. Mission specialist Tamara Jernigan. She's flying for the first time. And Commander Brian O'Connor. He's flying for the second time. Pilot Sid Gutierrez is flying for the first time. Crew is getting ready for a 9-day flight for the shuttle Columbia. Just got a report that the ICE team has completed assessment of the vehicle and launch area, and they will be returning back to the Launch Control Center. Meanwhile, the White Room is continuing preparation at the launch pad to prepare the crew cabin for cruise entry. This is shuttle launch control at -3 hours and holding. We've got the flight crew in the suit up with the operations and checkouting. Commander Brian O'Connor. These are items the crew will take with them on board the orbiter. The flight, while they're in the room here, they do stuff their pockets and with items they'll be taking on board with them. Bajan is flying for the second time today. A lot of activity going on in the suit-up room today. Busy for the crew. getting ready for a 9-day mission. And they will be departing the operations and checkout building shortly. That's planned for 4:45 this morning. They'll be looking at the White Room at Launch Pad B about 5:15. This is launch control at T-2 hours, 54 minutes and counting. We've got the flight crew departing the operations and checkout building. Mr. Brian O'Connor leading the crew out. Mission Specialist Pamela Jernigan, Ray Set. Jim Bajan, Sateras, Mary Hughes Fulford, and Drew Gaffney.
Houston, Columbia, MS3.
Columbia, PS1.
Columbia, PS2.
Okay, we've got all of you loud and clear.
ASM 142.
Yeah, still on 2.
T-7 minutes, 30 seconds.
Orbiter access arm retract.
The orbiter access arm being retracted away from the Columbia's crew module at this time and be re-extended in just a few minutes if necessary.
NTD SRO 212.
Go ahead, SRO. At this point, we may not be able to get the aircraft at TSP in time. Suspect we may have to hold for about a minute. T-5.
I copy.
NTD SRO 2.
Go ahead, SRO.
You have a final range clear to launch.
I copy. Launch director, you copy?
I copy.
And GLS, we will not hold the clock at T-7 minutes.
I copy that. It's figured.
APU pre-start's complete.
The orbiter flight control surfaces are being moved through a pre-programmed pattern, and the engines are being positioned for launch. Action of the gaseous oxygen vent hood is now underway. T-2 minutes, 20 seconds. Counting.
Flight crew, close and lock your visors and initiate OTO. Have a good trip.
To that.
T-2 minutes and counting.
Memory clear is complete.
Copy. GLS is go for ET LH2 pressurization.
Liquid hydrogen replenishment is being terminated and the hydrogen tank is being pressurized for flight. Crew has locked their visors for flight. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9. We have a go for engine start. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Columbia on the first dedicated medical research flight.
Full program, Houston.
Roger, roll, Columbia.
Houston now controlling maneuvers underway. Maneuver complete. Columbia now heading in a heads down attitude on course for a 39-degree orbit. Engines now throttling down as Columbia prepares to pass through the area of maximum dynamic pressure. Columbia now at 20,000 feet, downrange distance 1 nautical mile.
Throttle up, 3 at 104. Go at throttle up.
Columbia, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up.
Engines now throttling back up. Good hydraulic systems aboard the orbiter, good fuel cells providing electrical power. Columbia's 3 main engines still at 104%, performing well. Altitude now 90,000 feet. Downrange distance now 15 nautical miles, velocity 400 feet per second. Standing by for separation of the solid rocket boosters.
Sir, SEP. Copy, SEP. 103 complete.
SRB separation confirmed. Columbia now at 174,000 feet. Downrange distance 34 nautical miles. Standing by for the performance call.
Columbia, performance is nominal.
Roger.
Columbia's first stage performance is nominal. Time 2 minutes 30 seconds into the flight. Altitude now 204,000 feet. Downrange distance 46 nautical miles. Velocity 4,700 feet per second. All 3 main engines still at 104%. Good hydraulics and good electrical systems aboard the orbiter.
Columbia, Houston with an action on 812.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we need the PU heater, tank, fuel line, water sys 1, 2, and 3, the Bravos, to auto. We see some temps a little lower than we expected. We want to turn those heater on early.
Okay, stand by.
And one more thing, Brian, I wanted to see if you saw anything on the ET while you were taking pictures during the DTO.
Stand by.
Columbia, Houston.
We're taking television from the payload bay cameras aboard Columbia. This one from the aft port camera Bravo.
Columbia, Coil O2 tank heater sensor check complete. The results were nominal.
Thanks, Sid.
We're taking a look here at some thermal blanket material on the aft bulkhead of the payload bay, which appears to have come unseated at some time during between launch and opening of the payload bay doors.
And let's pan left just a little bit and let me take a look at that one.
Yes, sir. We're suspecting it looks like maybe even 3 of them. 3 of them that may have at least one snap that's come detached.
Yeah, it's hard to see for
It's
sure.
really difficult.
It sure does look like it all the way to the top.
Yeah, it looks like there was some type of ripping action or something.
Okay, here's the aft bulkhead. You can see the port will be to the right of your screen. It'll actually be to the left. I'm holding the camera upside down. Anyway, you can get oriented. You can see farther down there's a couple that are kind of disrupted. There's that one square that's almost 2 feet by 2 feet that's peeled off. It's just like the snaps popped. It doesn't like anything else. Up above, the same thing. Nothing's ripped. And then up above, you can see. Okay.
This is Mission Control Houston as Columbia crosses over the southeastern African coast. We have crew members in the Space Lab
And
module.
Columbia, Houston, we're with you in the lab. You look great.
Hi to you.
This is the Payload Operations Control Center, Huntsville. We're standing by to begin some of the major science operations for today. Just a short time ago, the CIC, the Crew Interface Coordinator, talked with the Space Lab module for the first time. That's a face we'll see a lot. That was Gary Renfro, who established contact with the Space Lab at about 5 hours, 13 minutes. We now see Ray Seddon, Jim Bajan, and Millie Hughes-Fulford working in the module as they get it ready to go for the science operations to come.
But while we're in orbit, we have a lot of serious work to do. This mission is the first one since 1985 to carry the European-built pressurized laboratory called Space Lab. We switch you to one of our payload bay cameras, you'll be able to see the Space Lab in the payload bay. Notice the size of the lab. It almost fills the entire cargo bay. And it has a 15-foot tunnel which allows the crew members to float back and forth from the orbiter into the mid-deck living area and then back to the Space Lab module where they do their research work. We have a crew of 7 folks, including 5 highly skilled and trained scientists. And for 9 days in space, we're conducting experiments in the first ever space flight dedicated totally to life sciences. Specifically, we're looking at the effects of weightless environment of space on the human body. Before we take you into that laboratory, let's go down to the deck where the pilot, Gutierrez, is going to talk about some of the things on down there.
From the middeck, we'll journey through a tunnel to the Space Lab. The Space Lab is where most of the experiments in this mission are taking place. Let's float through the tunnel and join the rest of the crew.
Welcome to Space Lab. I'm Ray Seddon. I'm a physician with training in emergency medicine and in surgery, and I'm a mission specialist on this flight. This is Space Lab. Space Lab has racks along the side in which experiments are located. We have 20 life sciences experiments on this flight. We also have a lot of stowage in the overhead lockers, and we have several pieces of equipment in the center aisle. I'd like to give you a quick tour of Space Lab and show you where things are located. In the very front of the lab, we have our control panels for the environmental control system, our communication system, and our computers. Just above my head, you see part of a vestibular experiment. It's a dome. You look into the dome. There are dots inside the dome that rotate, and it will help us determine how much you depend on your eyesight to give you cues about direction and motion. In this area, we have the majority of our cardiovascular experiments. Drew here is working on the echocardiograph machine, which uses sound waves to generate pictures of the human heart, so we can see how the heart changes in size and volume during the fluid shifts of weightlessness. We also have an instrument here that will help us measure how the regulation of blood flow to the leg changes when gravity is no longer acting on it. You can just see barely in this portion of the Space Lab, you see the shoulder bars for our bicycle ergometer. We're doing maximal and submaximal exercise on this flight and measuring our cardiac output to see how that will change in weightlessness. We'll also be seeing how our exercise capacity changes. The life function experiment, which is located in this rack, and this is Jim Bajan using the lung function experiment, will tell us how the distribution of air and blood changes within the chest when we're in a weightless environment. Behind me, you see our general purpose workstation, which is like a laminar flow hood that you might have in your laboratory. Air flows from the top of the hood down through grills in the bottom, and then it collects all the debris, and the air is circulated through charcoal scrubbers, and the air is clean, so we can have particulate material and materials that we wouldn't want loose in the cabin. We can work with inside this hood, and it will be contained, and the air will be scrubbed of any hazardous material that we might have in here. In this rack is the large centrifuge that we use to separate the blood cells from the plasma on the blood that is drawn from the crew members in flight.
This is Payload Operations Control. We'll be continuing the downlink of the videotape from the crew when we are out of antenna blockage in about 20 minutes approximately.
Those of you who have ever taken a CPR course will recognize Resusci Annie. Annie is serving as a patient on this flight to help us better evaluate an operating and examining table that might someday be used on space stations. The body mass measuring device that we have here on the floor is the equivalent of your bathroom field. Of course, in weightlessness, you can't do your weight. But if you sit in this chair, you release some springs, and it oscillates back and forth. And it gives us a measurement of mass, which is related to weight. So in conjunction with our diet logs and our urine specimens that we're collecting, we can get an idea of how our body's metabolism works in weightlessness. Now we're over on the other side of the space lab. My friend and crew member, Tammy Jernigan, is injecting some activator into some white blood cells that we've drawn from crew members on this flight. They're inside an incubator that keeps them warm so they can grow, and we can see how their growth changes in weightlessness as compared to some Earth-based white blood cells. On this panel, we have an experiment that looks at the regulation of blood pressure. There's a neck collar involved in this experiment. You place it on your neck, and it either puts pressure or suction onto the pressure receptors here in your neck and helps you regulate your blood pressure. We think that's going to change in weightlessness, and we'd like to see the magnitude of that change in regulation. Here we have the Space Lab refrigerator and freezer. We store blood and urine samples inside. As you can see, unfortunately, when we got up here, we discovered that they forgot to pack our ice cream. This set of racks contains certain of our backup equipment. We have, for instance, a small echocardiograph machine in here. We're also carrying a medical restraint system, the examining table, and the intravenous pump that will be used perhaps someday in the health maintenance facility on Space Station. So you can see we're pretty busy here in our laboratory in space. It's much like a ground-based laboratory, only without gravity. So we're studying three primary things here on the dedicated Life Sciences Space Lab mission. How gravity affects basic biological mechanisms, how weightlessness affects a number of human systems so that we can understand how to make longer-term space flight in the future safer and more comfortable, and how to best design equipment for doing experiments and for maintaining crew health on space stations of the future.
This view is of the payload bay with the Space Lab module in the rear of the payload bay, and the tunnel adapter used for the crew to move between the flight deck, mid-deck area to the Space Lab module.
needle went to the bottom. Means it's underexposed. You ready?
Yeah, but if you're wide open, that'll be okay.
As much as I can get it.
Okay. Go ahead.
We're about to do the balloon here. Let me get closer, right?
All the race credits have to get air flips too. That might be okay.
Okay.
Jim's gonna get air flips.
Okay, ready when you are.
Ready, everybody?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Boy.
Okay, are you ready to spin some more, Drew? Okay.
Got another one coming.
Let's see him. See where they go.
We're all sticking to the ceiling.
Trying to spin some sideways, okay? See if
Why are you guys making a mess?
yes, Daddy.
It's not half, right?
Okay. So some splat on the floor, some splat on the walls.
See, they stick. Wherever they hit, they stay.
They stick.
This is Payload Operations Control. Huntsville Drew Gaffney has been summoned down to the Encone camera in the Space Lab. Not sure why at this point. It could have something to do, however, with the fact that he was born 45 years ago today in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Drew. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all very much.
We were initially looking at the jellyfish that Tammy Jernigan recorded yesterday. Here they are. The reaction here in the POC was, look at them go, one of the scientists here said. There are 2,478 or so jellyfish aboard Columbia. The jellyfish have an anatomy that includes some crystalline structures that are not terribly dissimilar from that found in the inner ear of human beings. These structures help the jellyfish understand which is up and which is down, which is sideways. Many of the structures, again, resemble the structures of humans, although they are somewhat less complicated. And the desire of this experiment is to determine the effects of microgravity on these developing jellyfish in order to help also understand and prevent some of the adverse effects that attach to human beings when they enter the microgravity environment.
Sid?
What's wrong, Tammy?
She's not breathing. Can you help?
I'll get the mask. Can I help?
You bet.
Sorry, Andy.
Andy, that was Tammy.
Yeah, but I managed to kick both of you.
I'm not going to put bugs in the floor.
not breathing. Continue CPR. Go. Breath. Go. Breath. Go. Breath. Go.
Try and rock into her, Brian.
I can't do that.
Okay.
Right.
Breath. Go. Breath. Go. Whoa. Breath. Go.
Sid?
Yeah.
It's not obvious to me which way it goes here, but there's a little silver thing here which apparently that's the touch, so that's up here. One of my fish friends got me.
Are you ballistic?
I'm ballistic, I'm sorry. I'll admit it right now.
Now, if you're ballistic, that's okay. You know, that kind of protects you.
Said I need to
But-
put tortillas down. They're not living.
If you say you're out of control, that
Tortilla?
that admits some degree of negligence. Negligence, yes.
Yeah. Well, it never say.
Tortilla,
What?
right?
It never say.
Yeah, but if you just say you're ballistic and you were negligent, I mean, you still could be proven, and then it would be worse.
Can you check your ponytail around? Okay, she didn't have a button.
Okay, Houston, we're 2 minutes to LOS, back at 9:22.
And at 9:30 we got the PMC.
Roger, we'll see you at 9:22.
Okay.
Anything ready to use the camera at about 9:30.
That looks pretty well aligned.
Okay.
Now I'll try the silicone oil.
Okay, Marcia, as you remember, I sent you a message in a Holy Joe to get some stuff. Did you get a new deck of cards somewhere?
I have a new unopened deck of cards.
Okay, would you please open the deck right now and go through it, take out all the jokers and the advertisement cards.
Okay, I got a lot of
So
witnesses
only
here.
one left. So once you've removed all the extraneous cards and you're just down to the straight playing cards, let me know.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, I want you to shuffle the deck really thoroughly because, you know, a lot of times new decks are kind of, you know, given order and would make it kind of easy. So shuffle them up well.
Okay, they're all shuffled.
Okay, would you please place them down on the console there in front of you, face down, just the stack down there. And then is Flight long enough Comcord? Can he, after you spread them out, can he just pick one out? Don't pick it up, just slide it out away from the rest of the deck. Now you see I have in front of me another deck of playing cards, and we knew when we came on this mission that when you get to fly at 5 miles a second, you get a certain touch that you can tell the future. And before we left, I took a standard deck of playing cards, and I inserted one card the opposite way from the others. And that's the card that has just been separated from your deck down there. Now, just a way, and there's no trick. Why don't you right now have that card that was selected separately move, turn it face up.
Okay.
Okay, you want to tell me what that card is now?
Wait a minute. What do you want me to tell you what the card is? You're supposed to tell me what the card is.
Well, no, what I said is, here I have a deck of cards, and I've put one card the opposite direction of all the others. And it's going to be the card that you're going to tell me, so please tell me the card.
Okay, it's the 4 of spades. Okay, that looks good. Resume.
Can you see the one card that is different?
Sure do.
Okay, my lovely assistant, Sid the pilot, will now select that card out.
Big round of applause. That's truly incredible.
Can you read that card?
It's the Morris base.
There you go.
Amazing.
Well, thank you, Marcia. It's hard to do a trick like this far out. And we really appreciate all the cooperation we got from you, everybody else that did it.
What was the big city? There's one really large coastal city right there. Yeah, you're probably just coming up on it now.
One of the cameras located on the forward bulkhead of the orbiter looking toward the tail. In view, top center of the picture is the Spacelab module. Behind that is the tail of the orbiter and the right-hand orbital maneuvering system pod. Columbia now crossing into the Sudan as we take views of far stretches of the Red Sea and the Nile River.
Find interesting crap.
Wow, here's some volcanic stuff. These old volcanoes.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Mount Etna is the dark spot right in the center of the screen. Moving to the upper right-hand portion of your screen, that's on the island of Sicily. And we are having receiving a fairly close view of the city of Baghdad, which is just east of those two dark dots up in the center of your upper center of your screen right now. Visible now is some smoke in the Persian Gulf area. Those dark areas are evidence of smoke palls from the burning oil over the in the Persian Gulf area.
all of the equipment and instruments, procedures, and so on that the crew has been working with for these last 9 days of science activities in the laboratory module have to be secured before entry tomorrow. Everything has a proper place to be stowed in, so the crew will be taking care of all of that this afternoon.
Where's a good place to put our square clothes bags?
We want to just put
Back
it
behind there?
Oh, you don't want to put it in the body bag there?
No.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we're just going to leave that alone. It's in the flat.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, fill it behind there. We can do that.
So we'll put them up there. Okay?
Sounds fine.
And we'll put all the sleeping bags up against the wall.
Yeah. Or we can leave them back in Space Lab.
Yeah, just leave them back there. So everybody's sleeping in the lab tonight. Just leave your bag back there. Don't even take it down. Just leave the bag.
And as Columbia passes from the lit side of the Earth to dark,
We're all wrapped up and ready to come home.
It's 084 147 and 075.
And we'll be back after I get suited up.
That's loud and clear.
Columbia.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, we're all set and ready to close the port door. If you're ready, we'll do it.
Roger that, Brian. We're sitting here watching. You have a go to close the port door.
Okay.
It's going to hit the radiator. Oh, I just missed. Fuck, it's jammed. Well, it's jammed squarely in there. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but there's no question. It's jammed right in there. It looks like it kept it from coming down. What's it look like to you?
Houston, Columbia, based on our go, no-go diagram, we show the port door go, and we're ready to begin latching the door if you are.
Roger that. We concur, and you have a go to drive the latches.
Hello, Ray.
Oh,
Down in steerage. Hey, Drew. Hey, Millie.
Hey, found some film.
Almost an inch in your face.
Uh-oh.
Somebody take care of Spot.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston. The winds at Edwards remain light on runway 22 right now. They're 204 at 11 knots. Forecast winds remain unchanged. 240 at 16, gust 24. Those are within limits. You have a go for the burn.
Roger, go for burn.
Okay, that sounds good. I wonder if the wind's going to roll. It's probably two-flare speed. Well, the two-flare wasn't so much of a speed in there. Okay, and we got 36%, Brian, on the lowest one, so we're no for the first PTS. Oh, it's getting red out there. Yeah, it's going to happen all at once.
You want me to start your iPhone recording?
Yeah. And I think we're on fire. It's hot. Yeah. And double check the door gate. Hey, first.
PTI. At 20 to 21K is our first PTI.
Oh, I'm beginning to see the earth.
Sunrise.
Hey, pretty
Look
out
at that.
Beautiful.
Here we come.
We got an earth wind. We're coming into the sun. Are we moving out or what?
We're humming.
We're zipping right along.
Columbia now crossing the California coast. Altitude 126,000 feet, velocity 6,000 feet per second, or approximately 4,091 miles an hour. And this view showing Columbia, provided by the Santa Ynez long-range tracking camera at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Now receiving views from Columbia, of Columbia, from cameras at the Dryden Flight Research Facility. Current altitude 70,000 feet, velocity Mach 1.9.
Columbia, Houston, latest forecast winds at Edwards, right down the runway, 220 at 14, gust to 20. Nominal lane point looks good.
Great.
Columbia, Houston, see about 2,000 feet high at Hack Intercept.
Roger.
Flight now, his energy looks good.
Copy, we process an MLS guidance.
Processing MLS. Very good. And he's on center line and on glide slope.
Columbia, on center line, on glide slope.
Roger.
Gears down. Main gear touchdown. Nose gear touchdown.
Wheel stop on the Columbia, Houston.
Roger that, Columbia. Welcome back. It looked great, Brian, and congratulations on a super flight. And we'll have post-landing deltas for you here shortly.
Okay, all operators, post-landing deltas.
Okay.
Prop?
No deltas flight.
GNC?
No deltas flight. Eagle?
No deltas flight.
Econ?
No deltas.
Max?
No deltas.
Booster?
No deltas.
Inco?
No deltas.
DPS?
No deltas.
Payloads?
No deltas.
I think that's everybody. No deltas. Columbia, Houston, no deltas to the post-landing checklist. We'll follow you through as written.
Okay.
Columbia's crew is now working through the post-landing procedures to safe the orbiter and prepare it for the convoy cruise. Touchdown times for Columbia at runway 22 for the main gear was at 10:39:11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Moving in to Columbia's vicinity now is the crew transport vehicle. Moving along the side of runway 22. Again, the crew transport vehicle is a renovated people mover, the same type of people mover that's in use at many airports throughout the world. This is a renovation of a people moving unit that was obtained from Baltimore Washington International Airport.